Welcome to the underworld. I'm Justin. This is where I work with Fleming. Fleming looks after Lars, I look after Kirk. Got a bunch of guitars in the corner here.
I know what that is.
How many does he use during the show?
Normally about 8 to 10, depending on the songs and the tunings. Depends what we're doing that night, because they mess it up so much. Model up the songs, see what we're doing. Table. Lars's chair, Kirk's chair. Kirk's rack. Down here we get me, Fleming, Janine, Heather, sometimes Nicholas, and Kirk and Lars. So it gets kind of cozy. We have very limited view of our charges out of here. I have a TV monitor that picks it up when I can see him hit his pedal board. And this camera's stationary and it stays with the pedal board. And the rest of us all move round in here. And we're suspended. So it's hollow under here, no legs. No wheels, no legs. That's my buddy Chad. He looks after James on the other side.
Good, and Paul's still walking back.
Come with me, let's hit the wah-wahs. That sound check kind of finished. Just double check that I've got all the sounds. Main crunch sound. Clean, front pickup. That's it. All that sounds.
What's the extra button for? The one that says
Suck? That's the one I daren't push. If I push that, it all gets very pear-shaped down here. The problem with all the wah-wahs is that because we move in the middle, all the cables have to get to me. And I can't just run them, otherwise they'd be ripped when I talk. So all the cables for everybody all come up through the middle. And they twist up. So in the afternoon, we run the stage the wrong way. So we twist them all up. So come load out, they're all normal. And we can pull them out and get out of here. Get on to the next place. Just like the circus. Except the circus has got more canvas, we've got more clowns. These are the 3 main guitars that we use every night. The Mummy, which most of you are familiar with. There's 2 of these, one for each A and B system when we're doing flip-flop in Sanitarium. Ouija. The other main guitar, this is in the standard Metallica tuning, which is half step down, or semitone down. This is our main D guitar for Sad and Seek. Kirk Hammett, ESP, Cherry V. Very metal, very suave. We'll put some strings on this one. All the guitars he uses get fresh strings every day. These are the tunings that we use. There are a lot of tunings some nights. Sometimes it get a little confusing what's in what tuning. So for instance, if you come over here, the 2 yellow dots tell me it's instant anger tuning, drop C. Main, spare. This one's also used for dirty window when we do that, which we did the other night. And this is is our Mason Anger Frantic Les Paul. Believe it or not, that was new this tour. Get that, will you? We have one guitar here that's set up for slide. Has a slightly higher action. It's a caution. Has a higher action here, so that when he's playing with a slide, it doesn't clank on the frets up and down. And that's kind of a compromise. You want it high enough not to clank, but still low enough that he can play the solos. We're coming to the end of the tour now, so we've got 3 more weeks roughly to do, all across the south, apart from Salt Lake City. We get up there and do that, then into California for Thanksgiving, and that's the end of the tour. Then everybody takes a break, a well-earned break. We'll have been on the road about 20 months by then.
So compare other guitar players that you worked for. What is special about Kirk?
Well, Kirk has a lot more whammy guitars than most guitarists that I've worked for. And we used to have a lot more guitars on a daily basis than we do now, but the way the set list's running, we don't really get a chance to chop and change, because he needs whammy bar guitars for most songs, and when they're segued together, i.e. one runs straight into the next one, even though the first song may be Sanitarium, which he could use a Les Paul without the whammy bar, he has to use a whammy bar because we're going straight into Puppets. And there are certain, each guitar's slightly different, and when he's playing behind his head, he can't use the mummy guitar because the volume control is so close to the back pickup. But for other songs like Puppets, where he's violining, he needs that guitar. So each guitar's, I've worked for him for a while, I know which one he's probably going to want for each song.
So now on this tour, they've obviously been changing set lists like up to 2 minutes before they go on stage. How is that for you?
That's pretty crazy. It's like we just have to run around and make sure. It was really tough at first because you get into a rhythm of what guitar you're going to grab and what tuning you're going to use and how quickly you can change them, and being able to pass one off to the other really quickly on the 2 different frequencies that we use. And of course now we have to do that on the fly, which can be really stressful at first, but now we're so used to doing that, then that's kind of become a lot easier, and it's a lot easier for them because everything changes so much. We're kind of used to it changing so much now. Before, after 10 shows, you've got a rhythm of when he would want to drink, when he was going to get this guitar, and it all becomes a rhythm. And now the norm is not normal.
You think that prehab, as he called it, there was a tendency to maybe take it for granted, and do you fear that now that you're a few years back down the line from it all being well again, do you think you could ever quite go back to taking it for granted like that again? I mean, as you say, it is a part of your life.
I mean, there could be some slippage there, but I mean, I think the older we get, the more we appreciate it.
Okay.
Once we have time to just decompress,
right?
And that's really important, is that decompression period, because when you're in it and it's all around you, I mean, you're just in it, and there's certain things you do take for granted, But it's in the moments when you're decompressing that you just totally appreciate what you've done. It's when you can take a step back and just look at it and go, wow, we were on tour for almost a year and a half, and we thought that it wouldn't even be possible to even go on tour at one point.
Right.
And digesting that after the fact is pretty it's pretty heavy stuff. I mean, when you think about it, I mean,
yeah, of course.
And I really appreciate the fact that we were able to keep it together for this long.
Let me ask you, going back to the therapy thing and you were handed a set of tools. Talk to me a little bit about how frightening it was to see the tools and what has happened to the tools since. Have you been allowed to keep them? Have they been taken from you? In terms of coping mechanisms and when you look back at it, is it almost like a detached reality? Like, wow, that was me in the middle of that?
Well, it's funny you said that, because as I was walking into the venue today, I passed by the video monitors, the video banks.
Yeah.
And they were playing the trailer for the movie, and I saw that, that one scene where, Lars and James are in the room going, going
yeah.
about it, and I slap my head, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, if I would have, known at that moment that I'd relive that scene 50,000 times, man, I would have just walked out of the room.
Yeah, right.
Myself.
Right.
I would have followed
You'd
James.
into the door.
Yeah.
Get out of the way, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm first.
But as far as getting back to your question, I think we still have those tools, definitely. I think, at least for myself, I think I carry around those tools in a little mental toolbox. It's always not that far out of reach.
Right.
But it's not like I'm wearing them strapped to my chest,
Yeah,
24 hours a day. And I think that I think that some of us are maybe holding that toolbox a little closer to them only because of a need to,
Right.
and that's perfectly okay too. But I wouldn't say that those tools have been discarded at all.
Was it surreal? I mean, again, looking back, as you just described the monitor, was it surreal? I mean, was all the intense time that you spent with Phil, does it seem surreal now? Does it seem like another reality, or is it a reality that could happen again?
It could happen again. Anything could really happen again.
Sure. Right.
But for me, I like to think of it as just a chapter that we read, like 10 chapters ago.
Sure.
Because so many different things, so many great things have happened to us since.
Right.
So many positive things have happened to us since then that it just blows that whole period out of the water as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Okay. That's pretty unequivocal.
Yeah.
To say that for sure.